Whether it's because of a medical condition, needing changing facilities, or just being caught short, many people rely on public loos. But with numbers falling, campaigners want councils and governments to be legally required to provide them.
Presenter Mollie Pearce, who lives with a Stoma bag, has been looking at the support available to help make getting out and about a little bit easier for everyone.
We've all been there. You're out in town for the day and suddenly you realise you need the loo. But over the last 25 years, council-operated public toilets have reduced in number by 40%.
So, finding a loo might be a little bit more difficult than it used to be. What do you do?
I normally pop into a pub, try not to make eye contact and run for the toilet. A restaurant or an independent shop's quite good. But in terms of public loos, I wouldn't go in them.
Really? Is that because of facilities or?
Hygiene, yeah. And looking a bit scary.
I suffer with colitis, so if I need to go to the toilet, I need to go and quite quickly. So a lot of my routes depend, like I know the city like the back of my hand, so I know there's a hotel down there or there's a cafe around the corner, but the cafe could be closed or, you know, something could be going on.
And do you find when you get to the toilets, are the facilities normally up to standard?
They're usually quite dirty and smelly. They're not the best. I've been to much better baby changing facilities, but at least they have got them. But if you're elsewhere in the city, there's not very many places to change them.
And finding a public loo with suitable baby changing facilities is something widower Paul Fountain has found tricky when out with his two boys, Alfie 5 and Milo 2.
My eldest is able to go on the toilet, but my youngest is just coming out of nappy, so for the last year or so it's been quite difficult to try and find public loos in the first place, but then also any that are kitted out for baby change. I've had situations where there just was no baby changing facilities at all in the men's. There wasn't one in the disabled toilets. I think the only one was in the women's loos. So you're kind of quite reliant on knowing, you know, a good pub or restaurant. But, you know, often pubs and restaurants don't want you to use them if you're not spending your money in them.
And what kind of impact has this had on you and your children as well?
Taking two little boys out on my own is can be quite a stressful experience in itself sometimes. So then if you've got added worries of not knowing where facilities and things that you need to use are, it does kind of make those situations even more stressful, really. So it's not nice for them either, really, having to kind of do that out in the open around other people, and equally for other people it's probably not nice to see.
There are a few areas where public facilities are being installed. Westminster City Council has announced it's investing nearly £13 million on restoring toilet blocks in central London. But it isn't just about finding public loos and their conditions when you do. There are other things to take into account for those of us with hidden needs.
As a child, I was diagnosed with severe ulcerative colitis, and at 18, I had surgery to remove my large intestine. I now have a stoma, which means my small intestine sticks outside my stomach. I have a stoma bag over the top to collect my waste.
I have to change my bag frequently, something Tony Beckingsale, who has a stoma after contracting bowel cancer, also finds.
Is it different when you're out and about?
Considerably. Obviously, at home, you've got familiar surroundings, but when you go out into the big bad world and you decide you want to either empty or change your bag, you have to make use of disabled toilet facilities. And I have to have a whole range of paraphernalia to assist with the changing.
That means every time Tony does head out the house, he has to plan with meticulous detail.
To start with, we've got some dry wipes, and then we have some wet wipes, and they all have their purpose. We have a spray to help us remove the bag from our skin. We have a neutralizer of odour for the new bag and little black doggy bag.
As we can see, there's a lot of bits and bobs here. We don't want to be putting this on the floor, so what is the answer?
Well, very simply, it's a shelf, about 400 by 200. Would be sufficient for me to place these on and other people to place their paraphernalia on as well. And it'd be hygienic, yeah, transformative that would be.
Tony wrote to 20 of his local shops and hotels where facilities didn't meet his needs, requesting they review their loos. And he's had some success with 10 agreeing to add hooks and a shelf.
Like me, Tony uses a disabled toilet. There's more space and they're private, but sometimes these can be locked and you need a radar key to open them.
If you need one, you can buy a radar key from between £3.99 to £6 from charities including Disability Rights UK and AIDS UK. Or you may be eligible to get a key free of charge via your local authority. There are some loos that do cater for people like Paul, Tony and many more.
I've come to the Watershed in Bristol, which won a national award for Loo of the Year 2 years ago.
It boasts facilities that Raymond Martin from the British Toilet Association believes should be available across every town and village in the UK.
First off, Raymond, I didn't even know there was any such thing as the British Toilet Association. What do you do?
Well, the British Toilet Association was set up to fight for the rights of people about public toilets. When you're away from home, you need to go to the toilet. As a human being, we have to eat, sleep, drink, breathe and go to the toilet. But as well as that, just the provision, having things in the toilets which people need. So the British Toilet Association set out to fight for the rights for everyone who has a disability or has an accessibility issue.
I'm sure you have seen thousands of toilets in your time. What makes this one stand out?
It's got everything. It's got ambulance cubicles for people with mobility issues. It's got an accessible toilet for people with disabilities. There's a baby room for families and young children to come into. There's low-level sinks. And just look around, you know, everything is polished and bright and clean. So these people really respect people's dignity.
When it comes to finding a public loo near you, there are apps on your phone, like Flush Toilet Finder. It provides maps and information on whether the toilets require payment or have disabled facilities. There is also a website, the Toilet Map, which gives detailed information about public accessible toilets across the UK.
Finding a public loo that has everything you need can be difficult. Whether you have a Stoma bag like me, need a place to change a nappy, or just a clean place to go. But there are great public loos out there. You just need to know where to find them.
Good to know now where to find them. You know, a lot of us will talk about being caught short, you know, when we're out and about, but it's a serious problem for a lot of people.
It really is, yeah, it's so important.